Hi everyone.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry I'm late. I was coding, and when I code, time flies by.
That's good news. You were coding.
Not an Orchard, sorry.
Oh.
But I did code a lot on Orchard last week. Crazy. When you'll see the result, wow.
Did you fix my bug? Did you fix my bug? Did you fix my bug?
Have you followed the forum? A guy has a patch. I need to check which might fix your bug. Actually,
I haven't been on forums for weeks.
And I have to try that. He said there was no regression at all, so if it's there, if it works, it's good, and maybe it will show that we actually had a regression somewhere and we didn't find it. So we'll see. I will show you. Maybe we can talk about it.
Which bug, by the way?
So the bug or the feature is that when you submit a comment, comments are content items now because of you, Zoltan. So they go through
it's awesome.
They go through, no, not really, because I have other issues because of that. I don't really like it anymore now. Because
actually, sorry, content items were comments were content items before. Vivid Benelux just made them use the proper driver features to build the output.
And they are content items.
But they were before.
Okay, not sure. The issue is that when someone submits a comment and it's wrong, because it goes through the updater, there will be a transaction which will be rolled back in the end because the value is not valid. But the fact that there is a transaction, it will be logged into a transaction log, and the transaction log will grow. So if you haven't configured it to not grow at some level, you will fill your transaction log. That's the issue. So you don't want that. So the guy submitted a patch for something related, and which can fix that. It's related to the fact that create has to be called before update. Something like that. So now if we can call update before create, then we can detect that the objects are not valid before we start creating some records in the transaction log. So, welcome back, Brett.
Hello.
What's your new office? It's your garage or something like that?
No, it's actually an office in Santa Monica upstairs, and I guess there's a lot of exposed piping in my new office, so I'm surrounded by pipes. I don't mind. It's okay. I need to decorate around it. No, I'm not in the basement. I'm on the 4th floor. Yeah.
Okay. So let me clean my stuff. I need to close many things. 1 sec, because I was working. No.
The internet is made of a series of tubes. Anyone ever said that?
Nope, that's wrong.
Ted Stevens, a senator, said that. Yeah, it's a series of tubes in here.
Sorry, guys. Taking time. Okay. Almost ready. Okay. Shift click. Okay, thank you. Agenda. Status, bug fixes. What else? What else?
Are you sharing screen?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Triage.
Harvest.
Has anyone any demo today?
Yeah, new module.
Can you do it after the meeting?
Yeah, just for myself.
Okay. So Lombic has a new module. What else? Harvest, Lombic, Triaged, bug fixes, status. Is there any topic we should talk about? I think I had one, but I've forgotten. I think that, well, we'll see based on questions and so on. So let me open Git and I will share. Okay, that's fine. I just need to go back 7 days. Okay, sharing. TBM. What is TBM?
Secret project.
That's not my secret project. That's part of my secret project. You said last week you found it was the blog machine. That's what you saw.
There was another one as well.
There was another one as well. Correct.
I think it had an S in it.
What? MSC. And I asked what it meant, and I know
yeah.
what it means now, and I won't tell you.
No.
MS. I think it's MS. I think it's for Microsoft. MS.
Microsoft Campus.
Well, yeah. Well, correct. No. Can you see my screen, Benedict?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Ah.
Yeah, you can go. You can speculate in the chat. I don't care. Take head. You'll know. If it works, if it doesn't work, you will never know. I will tell you, no, we didn't ship. Doesn't work. So we stopped here last week, and we talked about it with Eric about this branch for SQLite, which was not working on load. Did you try it, Eric?
I did. I can't reproduce the bug.
Cool.
No, it works perfectly fine for me. I tried it with as many as 10 requests, and it worked kind of slow, but it worked.
Oh, okay. So I try it again then.
Yeah,
Maybe it was on my machine.
Maybe. I mean, when you do it again, just give me like a list of the steps you did to see maybe if I'm doing something slightly different.
I'll ping you and we'll see.
Okay, sounds good.
Interesting. So fixing warm-up HTTP module, I think it was a version number issue. Yeah, we did it live during the meeting. I pushed it. Implementing comments notifications. New feature. Should I show you? Other new features.
Are you sure that's a good thing actually? Shouldn't we use WordPress for that?
No. I will tell you why.
Okay.
If I have a good reason. It's a feature. Is it a feature? No, it's not a feature. It's integrated by default in comments. So the idea is that let's say you have a blog and you want to receive a comment, a mail when you have comments on a blog. I think it's kind of a usual scenario. Okay. Who has a blog and will not want to receive mail when they have comments? I don't know. And so it would have required to do some workflow and set up the email and everything. and it's kind of complex for just sending an email. So not really convincing myself, but by the way, I fixed some things here. Yeah, I made it first class in comments. So now in the comment settings, you just check a box saying, oh, I want to receive emails. When there's a new comment on something, send me an email.
And can when I make a comment, so you're saying that if I made a comment on that blog, I would get the email as well, yeah?
The author. So the idea is that when the comment is written, if the setting is checked, the author of the content item on which the comment has been added an email.
What about the person who replies to said comment?
You will receive an email because somebody added another comment. But correct. So yeah, we could also.
Seems a little bit like limited.
It's a new feature. Yeah, your scenario, you still can do that. You still couldn't do that before. You still can do that. I agree.
Kind of seems.
Maybe later we could also have another option, which is and also send an email to, or let people subscribe with a checkbox.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be an improvement too. Subscribe to email, to answers, to comments. Also, if someone answers my comment.
Yes. It would work especially well with threaded comments, for example.
Yeah. Yep. You could file feature for that. Lady. Let me see. Who has a blog here? I have, but Bertrand has a blog. Bertrand has a blog. Remember me, but I won't get notifications. Who has a WordPress blog?
I do. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to port it.
Morrison 2 R's. Oh, that's beautiful. BrettMorrison.com.
Oh God.
One. Oh yeah. It's slow. No, it's WordPress. And if I click.
I use Discuss.
Oh, so cheating.
Yeah, I just have a Discuss widget added at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, but for threaded comments might make sense. So well, it's there. It's not breaking by default. It's off because it's continuous. So if you had a previous version of Orchard, it will be the same behavior. But now you can check that. Adding example to configure background interval. Okay, so I also added a sample configuration in sites.config to show how to change the background services interval. So by default it's 1 minute, so this is still 1 minute in the example, but you can change it, you can increase it or decrease it as you want. That's useful. Don't like when you chat because I can't see anything. And removing duplicate using just refactoring, fixing some BB code stuff. Yeah, if you had some content on body with square braces, URL without an URL, BB code will fail. So I fixed the BB code parser. And I did some unit tests. Improving path resolution performance. So I've added a few indexes on the stuff that we query a lot. For instance, the AutoRoute display alias field, and also I think on alias tables if they were not there. I've also improved the requests for that. AutoRoute here, block service was also using it, so it's also improved here.
What was the gain? Was the gain quite a lot?
The gain is that if you have a lot of traffic, there will be contention on database with the queries we had.
Okay.
And then your site, your connections will be blocked on a database, will fill the pool, and your website will go down.
Okay.
That's the issue. So I think, and I fixed it, and that works better. This one too, content type record and content type immersion record, I did some indexes which I needed. For instance, on published and latest, I think some of you suggested it a few weeks ago. I think Zoltan maybe. Published and latest. It's in every query, so it should be indexed, and that's much better. And when I say that's much better, the website don't fail anymore. And I've done a lot of things like this.
Have you noticed anything with caching around the repositories? Does syscache kick in with repositories? So if I did repository.table, for example, .toList, and I had syscache switched on.
This makes sense because the idea is an Hibernate will invalidate automatically some items from the second level cache if you query on that or if you save something on that.
So would that store in syscache? Would you say if I did two queries, if I called that same thing twice, will I expect just one hit against the database?
You could. It depends on how we configure the second level caching. I'm not sure we did query caching. Well, this kind of it depends on which query, because each query you make with an Hibernate you can tell cache it, and we did it in the API for sure, in the content API. For the repositories too, I think, but there might be some we have missed or intentionally missed.
Okay. We might need to look at that one. All right, cool, thanks.
I don't use syscache. I don't trust it.
No, neither do I. But it was just something that I came across.
Then allowing Alias Updater to be disabled. I've added a property on the Alias Updater. The goal of this thing, so aliases are just redirections from from a nice URL to a specific route collection. This enables the AutoRoute to work. And they are loaded when the website is loaded. Okay. And they are updated because if you have two nodes or more, and you create content on the other node, the first node needs to get the new route and the new thing. So they are updated using a background task. So the updater just says, oh, give me all the new routes since last time I requested that. It's doing the same thing as a search engine. It's just updating the new aliases. And again, it could, the queries could create some bottleneck on the database. So I have enabled a disabled property. So if you just run with one node, which is usually what people have, you can disable this behavior. So there will be less queries to the database. Again, performance work. And it improved. I was able to reproduce the issue, and then fixing that fixed the issue. Fixing cache invalidation between browsers. So based on a comment on, so this actually, when did I, okay, so good news, this is fixed. Bad news, you should, all your caches are wrong. If you've been using the cache module, it's not really optimal. What was happened? So Daniel found the.
That's not good.
No, that's not good. I will tell you.
Okay.
I wrote. It's not critical. Don't worry. It's just that it could be better than what it is today. Today is good, but you will see how dumb it is. It's crazy. Daniel found it. Found the could repro the issue. So a guy on the blog, on the forum, submitted an issue saying, hey, we have 2 cache keys, and look, I go to IE, then I go to Chrome, then I go to Firefox, and it doesn't reuse the same cache, it's using another one. He said, because you are using this line of code. So he was right and wrong. It's right that he was right when he said that IE, Chrome, and Firefox will not reuse the same cache entry. Mm-hmm. He was wrong by saying there were different cache entries. There was the same cache entries. The issue was that what happened? Let me open the notepad. So let's say you go to your website using IE. You have a new cache entry, okay? Let's say you go back using IE. You get the cache entry. So on your one request. And again. Okay? Let's say now you open Firefox. And you go to the same homepage. What you expect is to get the cache entry. What happened is that new cache entry. Because Firefox will maybe say, oh, I support SD. What's the protocol? SDSH or something like that. No, and the accept encoding and gzip, something like that. Okay? Or let's say it's Chrome. Create a new cache entry because it finds another accept header. And by default, Orchard was indexing also using the accept header. So this is okay. This is fine because then if I go back again on Chrome using same thing as SDCH, SDCH gzip, then I have get cache entry. This is almost fine. So it's actually that he was right when he said IE is creating its own cache entries and Chrome is creating its own cache entries. That increases the number of cache entries, but that's almost fine because it's kind of expected. The big issue is that, let's say now you go back to your website using IE. You would expect, okay, I'm not asking for gzip, but I should get the get cache entry. No, you will get a new cache entry. And there is a bug. The bug was that when the code was creating the new cache entry, it was also disposing all cache entries for the page. Which means if you have some users using IE and some users using Chrome and some users using Firefox, which I will say always happens in 100% of the cases for public websites. And let's say you have 5 queries in a row for alternating IE and Chrome, they will both invalidate all entries to each other. So you will actually never get a cache hit, but just cache misses. You will get just cache hits if 2 users have the same kind of browser, consequently. So when I say all your caches are wrong, they work in a very rare scenario. And Daniel was able to find it because he was looking at his logs from cache, and he saw that there were a lot of cache misses instead of cache hits. And I looked at the code, and actually I found this disposing all cache entries for the page. I found the issue. I was using a wrong key when I was disposing the cache entries. I was using an invariant entry and not a, well, you don't care about the implementation, but this was the issue. And it's fixed, so it should be much faster now with the cache. Sorry, guys. And I could not repro it locally because when I was trying, I was using the same, or I was using my load test, using the stuff here. Let's see, the applications.
Hey, George, are you watching this?
I'm sure he's muted like usual.
Yes, I'm watching.
So this is a good one.
So, yep. So It's an important one.
Yeah,
It's,
removed by tag. I see.
it's just surfacing something.
Well, you know, we have at One Stop, you know, we cache out to Akamai on the edge. So
That's fine. So you won't see this issue.
yeah,
But if for those who use the cache module a lot and just rely on that and not a reverse proxy cache, then they will have the issue.
right. Okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Akamai is caching by, not by the cache key doesn't contain host or user agent. It's just it's not varied by
and
host.
it's not even the fact that it contained a cache key, because the issue will just have been that the caches will have been duplicated. The issue is really that another browser will invalidate other browsers' cache.
I see.
This is the issue. There were two issues. Duplication is not an issue. It's just something we can worry about because it's taking more cache than it should.
Yeah.
But the issue is really invalidating all the caches just because there was a new browser hitting the stuff. So this is fixed. So I'm telling you, between last week and this week, websites should be much faster and handle much more load. Even more if you have lots of websites. Then what I do is I now, as requested, merge the 8.x branch to 1.x branch, so we are in sync, and I do a maximum on 1.8.x, so there are really non-breaking changes and improvements that you can apply today, binary changes. This one, then I spent a lot of time on this guy, Azure Output Caching, related to my test on cache. So the Azure Output Cache is an interesting client. So the other Azure Output Cache was failing under load. We could get connection timeouts and all sorts of issues. I spent 2 days on this thing. And you can't imagine how much I hated the devs on the API and the service. And at the point, I was talking to my manager's manager, and he pointed me to the team who made it. It was just at the end of the hallway. So I went to talk to them and to ask them how to use that, and they explained me how to use it, and it's completely different than what you can find on the internet, and I fixed it. So after days of work, I have it. So I did this change and I did some others after, and now it works very well. I have not a single error message, and the load, you can't beat the load. I've tested it on. So it's really reliable and performing. So now this Azure Output Cache is much better. The module, yeah. And merge it again. And again, it was on 1.8x and merge in 1.x. Then I moved the TimerActivity from workflow into its own feature, and it's just on 1.x because it would break current workflows if you forget to enable that. The idea is that TimerActivity, like the Alias Updater, is a background task which will issue some queries to the database. And if you don't have any timer, it's just queries for nothing. So if you want to use timer, it will enable the activity and the background task to find the timer activities in the database. And if you don't need that, you don't enable that, and you don't have to pay for that. It's the pay per play stuff. Salman uses it a lot. And that improves the performance on the websites. Fixing comments. Yeah, I have, wrong stuff, typo, reverted something. Oh yes, this disable I think didn't work actually, so I reverted it and I I think I issued another feature for that. Yeah. So actually, Alias Updater is a new feature. So if you run on a multi-node, you might want to enable the Alias Updater. It's on 1.0x, not 1.8x. Fixing Azure Output Cache again, and I fixed it again and again and again and again. Because again, I was doing even more tests and finding other issues. And okay, fixing unit tests. So this is the unit test related to command services. Improved route-based constraints. So this was a bug. It was taking the wrong ID. And this one is to improve the performance on the archive constraint. And I was thinking, oh, this one is crazy. Well, I think this one I broke it because it doesn't work anymore, so I need to check that. But this one is crazy. Archive constraint.cs. The archive constraint is there if you have archives. If you have a blog, you have the archives route, which is /archive/year, month, day, and there is a constraint on every URL to see if it's an archive constraint and if the date is valid. And to see if it's really an archive constraint, you have /the blog slug/archive. So it needs to check when there is /archive if the thing before is a blog path. And to check that, it would ask the path resolution service to check if this blog is really a blog, if this path is really a blog. This will issue one query. Now imagine you want to create URLs for archives. It will also check if this route constraint. So the query will be executed for as many archive links that you will have on a page or a widget. That's lots of queries. And with lots of websites, it could also be a bottleneck on the database. So now I fixed it to use the alias holder, which contains all the path already and in memory, so it doesn't have to do any query. So it's saving a lot of queries, but like crazy. And same thing, if you would do a stress test on the archive page, you will put your website down, simply. So this is fixed. I see chatting. Explains why blog archive takes 2 minutes to load. Yes, Tracy, and now it will take 2 milliseconds to load. So I will say sorry, but hopefully we found it and fixed it. Merge branch, making case insensitive. Yeah, same again. I think it's kind of a bug also. If you are looking for /archive with uppercase A, it was not finding it, so now it's fixed. Branch, and I up until there. You can look at the commit names. You won't find anything on purpose. This is a fix on the fix on the fix for the output caching. So I think this is the last one. So the idea with the output caching is that we have a configuration for the cache. There's an object in the API cache configuration. There's an object named data cache factory, which is a factory for data cache clients. I would have expected that the configuration has to be loaded once, which will initiate one factory as a singleton, and I will reuse my singleton, or for one website, okay? For each website, I will have one factory instance and call the factory as many times as I want to get a cache client and to release my cache client when it's done, like SQL connections. But actually, it's totally not the case. What they say is you need a data cache factory not per website, but as a static instance for all the clients, just one instance. And only one data cache instance. Don't call get cache if you have already an instance. So it's like a false factory pattern. It's called factory, but it's not a factory. So this is completely misleading users. So now we already have only one data cache instance for everything. And also, I'm calling this pause correctly. This is not documented, but you need to do it if you do some retry code. So now it works very, very, very well. It's tested on a huge website with lots of queries. That works very well. Then I fixed some examples in the configuration, and we are there now. So I will say, please update to 1.x or 1.8.x if you have cache issues, if you have query issues with blogs, and you will be happy. So Bertrand, for instance, I know you had some issues, not related to the comments transaction log. You had some timeouts. Take it.
Yeah.
Take it. It's fixed.
Okay.
This was it. This was the.
Yeah,
the
I would prefer to do only one deployment with the comment fix.
Okay. Okay.
Do you think it's reasonable to wait for it, or?
Yeah, I will fix it very, very soon.
Okay, great, thanks.
If I can. If I can't, no. But if it's the related from
Kind of have to.
Yeah, we have.
It's a real problem.
I agree. So I will try. If technically it's doable.
Otherwise, I have to switch to WordPress.
Yes, correct.
Okay, fine.
On Azure, WordPress on Azure. What did I miss?
I saw the that data cache factory stuff. That was the same implementation as for the App Fabric.
Yes, this is the same API, App Fabric.
Yeah, horrible. I remember dealing with it a year ago for One Stop. Do you remember that, Brett? Oh, he's muted.
Remember what?
Remember the App Fabric code for
Yes.
caching?
Yes.
Remember how it had to be a really odd singleton pattern?
Yes. Also, the serialization was not that great on it.
Exactly, yeah.
Versus Memcached.
Memcached release superior, yeah.
Yeah, I have an open source module for App Fabric. I did a different implementation than yours. Yours came before Sebastian published the base module.
Yeah.
I made mine based on his. Let me find the URL.
Yours is different, yeah. But I think yours probably would work a bit better.
Yeah, and I actually let you choose your serializer on the one I wrote. Here, I'll paste it in the chat window.
I think I was trying to serialize everything rather than what I needed to serialize. I think I hooked into the wrong part of the pipeline.
Yeah. Yeah, I last updated it in February. I don't know who's using it.
I overrode iCache Manager. That's what I was doing. Rather than yeah, I remember that.
Does anyone here use App Fabric?
You mean not on Azure? You mean not locally?
Well, there's
locally.
two different versions, isn't there?
Yeah. We were going to run it locally, not on Azure, and yeah, we liked it, but we didn't end up using it. It has good management tools, and it's free.
Fabric 1 point. Here it is. This thing.
Yeah. Okay. TechEd, guys. Are you going to TechEd, Brett?
No, I went to Build. I did go to Build, though.
Well, if you like Build, you will like TechEd.
Where is it this year?
Houston, I think. Houston. Houston.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
Oh, it's coming up. No. Yeah, I think I'm.
It's sold out, but I'm sure you can. You can arrange that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Good.
I'm sure I could. My new friends.
Okay. Zoltan, aka Lombik.
He's
AKA Piedon. AKA Benedict's wife.
Yeah, that too. That actually the last one is the official alias.
Okay, so please share your screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do that. Probably I can steal the stage from your screen. Okay, you already stopped. So the module what I will just quickly show you.
You remember that you have to wait for Benedict to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just a.
It's loaded now. Partially.
Loaded?
Yeah, like half the screen is black. I don't know why, but yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Then I will try to show everything on the top half or something like that.
It's okay now.
So this module was developed by us and is open source, but was actually developed for a good client, Realty Shares. I think we have already seen this website during one of the meetings because Sebastian has found it. But here it is, and actually Tracy from Realty Shares is also here.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great.
Would you like to speak a little bit about the aims of this module?
Sure. Yeah. Realty Shares has been around for probably about a year. We're an Orchard website, crowdfunding for real estate, and we were in the process of updating our user dashboard. Needed a way to send messages to our users, similar to, I don't know if you've seen Gmail's notifications, just simple one-off messages that didn't require replies, but just to give useful user-specific information, updates on some of the investments listed on our site, etc., account changes, bank account verifications. So we contacted Zoltan about a month ago, gave him a spec document, and he went ahead and built it out 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll let him demo the module for you guys, but I felt that this sort of feature could be used by other Orchard websites, or yeah. So anyway, go ahead, take it away, Zoltan.
All right. Yeah, actually the specs were really beautiful, very well detailed. So what you will now see is pretty much what we have seen in the specs as images. So let's see. So the module is about displaying notification, or rather sending notifications to users and displaying them on the front end. So basically, you can send notifications to individual users and groups of users in various ways. And how it works is the following. Once you install and enable the module, you will get a little notifications menu item. And here is where you can create notifications to send to users. Yeah, you can create notifications with the Create New Notification button. And as you can see, we have basically three different ways to narrow down which users you want to send the notifications to. There is one option to select a role. So everybody in that role will receive that notification. We can also use recipient lists. Now, recipient lists is, as we can see, once I clicked on the Create New Recipient List link, a recipient list is basically a collection of users. But you can specify with their usernames. So, for example, now I could create a recipient list. So this could be a test recipient list. Yeah, as you can see, there were many tests. And if I give some usernames here, I think just an admin is here. But if there were multiple users, you could write them in a comma-separated list like this. And since there is no Steven, yeah, we get an error. But admin is here, so so now I created a recipient list with just one user. So now I will be able to use that list to send notifications to all of the users included in this list. So going back, oops. Okay, again. So now we have this test recipient list here, of course. or we can select just to send to arbitrary users in this way. Yeah, by the way, usernames are entered here by the users, but of course not the usernames are stored in the background, but the IDs. So it's just for displaying purposes. Yeah, so we could probably also try ad hoc recipients here. This works in the same way by just putting in usernames. Now, notifications can have a title and a text, and both of them are, as you can see from these helpers, tokenized. So in these texts, you can basically also talk to the user or use some other context variable available from tokens. So, for example, we could here really talk to the user. I think it's name. Yeah, so something like this. Oops. And very similar buttons here, but they mean something slightly different. Send now and send later works exactly like publish now and publish later. You can either send the notification now or send it later at a scheduled time. By the way, these are really just publish now and publish later, and the title and the notification text is title part and body part, just with some customization. So if I send it now, okay, nobody's talking. I just showed time. I'm hearing some noises, but nothing is on the front end yet that would display this notification, because now it's saved. It's visible to the users. Well, it's also saved here. But there is no widget to display them, because our notifications are displayed in a separate widget that we can add, for example, to the before main zone. It's called notification widget, and this is what will actually display the notifications. But this is, of course, just a UI, but in the background there are services that you can use as a developer to fetch the notifications or send notifications, but this is what's there on the UI by default. So this can be a notifications widget and nothing else needed here. And now if I go to the front end, here is this notification widget. So this will list the notifications, but actually nothing is listed yet. But if I do a reload, it is now here. And of course, multiple notifications can be listed here. As you can see, the tokens are evaluated, and you can mark these notifications as read by hitting this X.
So,
now, yeah,
so
sorry.
Just a quick question. If you wanted 2 widgets on that page, and you wanted to dispatch different notifications to each of the 2 widgets, could you do that?
No, currently the only thing that you can target notifications with is the recipient. So if you have two notification widgets, since the user is the same, they will show the same notifications. But actually, one of the ideas we had before, but didn't need for this implementation, is to have multiple levels of urgency for notifications, or priority levels to display notifications, for example, in various colors, or have sticky notifications of sort. But currently, just so the recipient will see the same set of widgets, same set of notifications, regardless of the widget. And actually, what's probably also interesting for the developers here is how the implementation is. I won't go into details because it's open source. You can take a look. But I also said that the notification is only displayed after a reload. That's because notifications are checked through the processing engine asynchronously after a request. The reason is not to have a case where you have to make database operations in the order of magnitude of the recipients. Because here with notifications you can have tens of thousands of recipients, but we really wanted to have an implementation where, for example, there won't be 10,000 records created when sending a notification, because that would be crazy. So what happens is that the system periodically checks just for logged in users. So if a user is logged in, and the system periodically checks for new notifications. Here I have overridden that period to be 0. So the notification appears after a refresh immediately, but that's configurable, and actually the default is 10 minutes. So it's very light on the resources, and it scales because it doesn't depend on the number of recipients. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, probably. There's something else. Okay, so that was the notifications module. Again, this was made for real issuers, and as far as I know, it will be soon used on the real issuers websites to give nice notifications to the users. Do you have any questions, probably, or any remarks?
Yeah, remarks.
Yeah, please.
She's nice. I have some other ideas, but obvious ideas. So can we replace MailChimp? And so today it's notification. I'd like to see it abstracted. So like in the projection, you could say, oh, I want to create a notification and specify some targets like front-end notification or live notification using SignalR or email notification. And then for each of them, define what notification should, like you did, like what kind of, well, yeah. So for each of the notification kind, have a different editor, because for an email, you want a subject, a body, and so on. And for a front-end notification, you just want a text, for instance. So that could make it useful for sending mass emails too, because technically you already have everything. You just need to send an email instead of displaying it for a widget. And what else? Also, you should distinguish your notification title from the title of the notification. You should have two titles, what you want to show and what is the name of the notification. So that when you display notifications, you don't see the tokens.
Yeah, a good idea.
Like a description. You see the same thing we have in the layouts and the filters for projection. You can give it, there is a computed name, but you can give it a name for display reasons, like send notifications every Monday containing that. And the real notification will be the real title.
Oh, yeah.
I would
nice
prefer
idea,
that.
Yeah. I agree.
And yes, if you could
could it hook into the jobs queue by any chance?
It's using that. That's what they said.
No, it's actually not. So one of the main points here was not to have just to work what is really needed, because there can be really many recipients. So it's not going over every recipient unless it's really needed, and that would be only needed if every recipient would be logged in at the time. That's why it also wouldn't. So this system wouldn't be suitable without modification to send emails, unless you want to receive emails only when you are logged in. So it's not using it's not going through every notification of every user. It's just going through the notifications of users who are currently logged in periodically. So it's kind of a queue, but not in the same way as the jobs queue.
Well, if you abstract the notification pipeline, you could say, hey, my widget take notification in some way, and the emails take the notification in some other way. And there's consumers of notification. So yeah, it will work, I think. Well, but that's nice. That's good. One day we'll have it.
Thanks for the
So, could you dispatch the notifications to a list, and then you could use your widget to select that list, and then that would dispatch. Then you would be able to dispatch a list to an individual widget, right?
You could do that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Any other demo or comments on the demo?
If nobody wants anything else, I have a question, totally unrelated. I had opened a discussion on the forum a while ago, and basically my question was, and nobody replied.
Nobody cares, maybe.
Sorry?
Nobody cares. If nobody replied, nobody cares.
Yeah, I was hoping that. I was hoping the issue is not that there is no solution, but just nobody cares.
Tell me.
So the question is, can you achieve specific ordering from HQL queries? And by specific ordering, I mean in HQL queries you can write basically in queries with using contains. So, for example, selecting a set of content items by specific IDs. Now, is there a way to maintain the order of the original IDs in the result? For example, I want to...
Oh, I see.
So
I don't know if SQL does that.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Maybe it will, but by chance. I'm not sure the SQL implementations do that and ensure that. So
I don't think it is the case by default.
If they don't, then that's hard. Unless you have a very... it will not be HQL, it will be then the custom get many, and the get many will ensure that it returns all the get many items in the order of the get many.
Something like that. I think you have to order by field. That's what they're saying. But I don't know how to implement. I wouldn't know how to implement that. Or that might be
and it's not. I'm sure it's not. It's typical from SQL Server and not SQLite, for instance. And
that might be my
yeah. So what you could do in SQL, and I don't think you can do that from HQL, or at least from the iHQL query, is that you can add a dynamically created. Well, I don't know how it is called, but not column, but something like a column in the query, and then you can order by that.
By row
so,
number.
for example, for search list, search result pages, you can have an order by relevance, where you specify the relevance for each of the rows. Because actually, that's also something that I think would need for search result pages, because those are not really ordered currently. Or are they ordered by relevance?
Yes, by default, but because that's using Lucene and not the SQL. And Lucene orders by reference by default, so that's fine. It works.
Okay, so it's just fetching items for the first page and stuff like that. So it's okay.
So search is returning some IDs, and there is a get many on the IDs.
Oh yeah.
And maybe you're right, maybe the results are not in the order of the get many and we should reorder them, but in the application logic.
Yeah, that's easier.
But Lucene returns ordered pages, so that's fine. Lucene has no issue. Maybe it's when we call get many after that they might be unordered in the page, but the page is right. So maybe there you found a bug, yeah. A potential bug, and we need to... It's easy, just... yeah. Yeah, Orchard.2 will have a new data API. Just throwing the ID, but okay, thank you, Zoltan. So, just clicking. I should not click. Harvest, is Ilan here? I didn't see him. He's not here. So Harvest update is that we have worked on the sessions list and speakers and potential speakers, and we will update the site very soon, like this week or next week, with pictures and bios of speakers. The ones we have right now will have more. But right now we are sure for some of them, so we'll announce them. That's about it. What else? Triage. 5 minutes just for sanity. Hygiene, to say. Issues. Let me share my screen just to see what's up. Desktop. So I'm looking for proposed. I'm looking for unassign and all impact. And today I will look from the oldest ones because last week I looked for the new ones. So I don't know if Benedek can see. I will just read. So allowing different blog post content types. So the blog post is hard-coded. Yes, for the blog post module. Okay, so I was suggesting to use the list module, and I was right. And it says, cool, thanks. So I assume I will close the bug. Benedek, can you see something?
No, not yet. Hang on a second.
Can you say something? Is Benedek dead?
Even if he's recording and I can see it, so probably he can see it too.
He's muted. I can unmute him.
Okay, can you make a sign so he's not hearing us? Benedek, blink.
Can you hear me?
Say hi. No, you don't want to? Okay, let's ignore him then. Custom forms, instance error when viewing submissions. I maybe found a problem relating to custom forms. Blah, blah. I created a custom form with just one email field, and now after submitting a form and going to the dashboard in order to view the submitted form, I get object reference. Module check on widget part, Aztecs widget part. Okay, I will check that. Active. Orchard.Workflows and Orchard framework are using old systemnet. I think I fixed it. I don't know if I used the latest ones, but I fixed the discrepancies. There were some discrepancies. Orchard framework. Yeah, I think some discrepancy because there was a warning.
Christian says yes, fixed.
It's fixed. Yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago. Yep.
Yes.
Resolved in 1.8x actually.
Oh, my module has a problem with it as well.
Authorized media file access, never. Oh, okay, this way. No, we can't. Well, let's see what you mean. Oh, you see, we've been very careful. Rosemary and Derek having blah 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 blah. I'd have to think about this more. Yeah, please. So, proposed, but for later. So just to summarize for people who don't know, it's not a new ID. Nick had this ID like 3 years ago. Sultan, you're late. The idea is to implement security on the media items. Not only is it very hard, but if we do that, we will imply a performance issues because we'll have to go through MVC to check every static file access for the media files. And if we do that, it's no more served by IIS, but by the application framework. So it will have a deep impact. And so we prefer not to do that. creating menu item with fields attached won't save those fields first time. That's bad. Blah, 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 blah. Fix it.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, fix it.
Create menu items. Fields. Tap this.
That's weird, but okay.
When did I raise that? Last year.
September. But updated today by me. So that doesn't count. Yeah, but somebody worked on that. That's yeah. Style requires script query string. I've seen that.
I don't think you should be doing. Oh.
Require.
That's not the way to do it, I didn't think.
No, I mean set
I
your
haven't seen that behavior because I do something very similar to that and it works.
Okay, I'll check that.
It might be getting stripped out if they haven't got a parameter like v equals or something like that. That might be the issue.
Or maybe we should have a set parameter which will not strip them.
Well, I don't think it does strip it at the moment. But then again, mine is $v equals. So I have a key as well as a parameter.
Oh, there is no key here.
There's no key.
Oh, that's weird. You need a key.
Yeah, there's no key. So
I close and I say add a key if the key is lost.
That's what it could potentially be that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say try and repo before closing it. Just say, can you reproduce with a key?
Yep.
Just give it an example or something.
Real issue. I like Christian. I like you. Caption and alternate text columns may apart should not have max size. Caption and alternate text. I don't know. Yeah, we don't filter on them, so I don't care. And the issue is that if we put a limit, somebody will complain because the caption is not unlimited, and then I could argue that if you need an unlimited field, you could add a body part or whatever new field you want. And alternate text, we could argue that doesn't make sense to have unlimited, okay, and we can strip it. Why not? What is really the impact? Really? Even if it's empty, it will have an impact on. What do you mean by bad practice? What is a bad practice? Hello?
Oh, sorry, I was speaking to myself again. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I think I was wrong actually.
So what?
Because for accessibility purposes, actually, you might have alternate text for a media that could be quite long. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
So maybe I will comment that. Let's look at what the other guys do. At what we'll do for this. Okay, just to see what they do. If they are not unlimited and it's not an issue, maybe we could reconsider that. I'd like also to know, and how can we know the impact? I have no idea. I know it's using unlimited limits the feature set that we can use. I don't know about the perf impact.
Unlimited only sets to 10,000 as well. So
I don't know, Mesh. I don't know. So when we have answers to that, we can decide on that. Last one, tenants route names not fixed 171. I'm currently a few tenants and customer which route which has a route name. Yeah, it's a duplicate. Oh, sorry. I can't do something like routing tenants. This result is by the main URL instead of the. Yeah, and I think it's actually broken right now. Let me check. Oops. I will add a comment, which means that active, high, any, and we'll have name routes broken in 1.8 URL, and I will link it to that. Because it's related. Okay, that's it for today. Any comment I missed? It's very slow. Looking Chinese to me, which means I don't understand. But I trust you, and I will look on the internet to see what people say. If there is an agreement on that, we can change it. And then maybe revisit what we have for unlimited. I don't know. Okay, thanks everyone. Good session. And see you next week.
see you next week, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Weird.
Bye,
See
everyone.
ya.